welcome to the Meeple Mentor YouTube channel. Today we're doing a review of the Shackleton series, and this is about to hit Kickstarter, so definitely check out our thoughts. I'm Jared, and with me, as always, is Holly. So we have done this episode 1 of the 6-episode series. That's what was available for us to play through. We have previously played the company's Escape Mail games, the first 2 envelopes or what have you, that it gets mailed to you and then you can do those puzzles. So what we're talking about is an interactive puzzle adventure, as it says right on the box. This one is themed after a 1914 trip to Antarctica, headed by Ernest Shackleton. So that's the Shackleton there. So in the box we had essentially the first episode or first envelope of materials and information, just like how the Escape Mail information came.
Yeah, Cousin JJ is back.
Cousin JJ.
He's back to send you on another expedition. He's gathered some evidence for you, and it's up to you to decipher what's going on, as usual.
Yep. So in this first episode, essentially there's 5 main puzzles that you're trying to solve. And, well, I guess a 6th one, really, when it comes down to it, because you have to also solve the final puzzle, which gives you, like, the answer to like, the question of what their current ship status is, right? That kind of thing. But anyway, you put all that stuff together, and you try to, combine all of it to get the answers. Some of these we got pretty easily, not necessarily easily, but, like, smoothly, I would say. There were 1 or 2 that I think we got hung up on and ended up looking up the some of the hints available. I will say that just like the Escape Mail game, there are hints available both on the there's like a card that you can flip over that gives you like a step walkthrough of how some of the materials are connected and what you should be looking for. And that it does it very simply. It does it with just like a little image of the material. But then the other one that you can do is interactive on the website, or the link that's found through the QR code on the box or in the game. With that, you can look up hints. You can also look up the actual solution if you're fully stumped.
Can you?
Yes. So
I never run the QR code.
Yeah. So there are different ways to make progress if you are completely stumped. I would say this probably plays best at 2 or 3 players.
Especially if I'm on the team.
Since a lot of it is, puzzling, you want to get everyone's like perspective on it, and because sometimes people see things differently, and sometimes it takes a while to like figure out what meanings are being indicated and what connections there are between them, and so you're going to need a scrap of paper and pen.
I'm very literal, so if you say verb, I expect verb.
Yeah, one of the puzzles that we found, we were supposed to come up with the word from the clue that we did solve, but the way that the definition that we came up with that we legit found made it sound like it was going to be a verb, but
it said verb.
Well, it said a definition, and then the way it's written, I'm not going to say it all, but like the way it was written made it sound like this was the definition of a verb. And I think we got a little bit thrown off by that, and it could, because this word could also be an adjective. So that's one example of something that we had to like look up, because we had figured out the answers, but we just couldn't.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very literal, so I get stuck on one meaning.
Yeah, yeah, but the other one that we had trouble with, and I won't go into any spoilers, so don't worry, but there was one of the materials uses a string and a patch that comes in the envelope, and we did it correctly, but we missed what it was trying to communicate. Mm-hmm. And once we found, the hints pointing us to, oh, well, this is what you're supposed to be gathering from what you just did. Okay, yeah, but honestly, it would have taken me a long time to ever realize that that's what it was trying to say. So, I mean, other than those 2 hiccups, I thought it was a pretty fun, enjoyable puzzle game that is well put together. And, it's, if you like putting riddles together in, different ways that, communicate one thing to another, and it's like, well, I can gather this and this. it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of logic and deductive logic in there as well. Um, yeah, and I think the escape mail one, you had to have a little bit more resources, like you had to cut some stuff out.
I think that one was easier for me because it depended more upon building the puzzle than actually like logicking it, so to
Yeah.
speak.
So one of the keys in doing the Shackleton series is just reading through everything and then trying to figure out what goes with what, and then looking for clues or anything that stands out unusually and piecing those things together. So it takes a good observer and someone to kind of see the connections between things and come up with new ways and be creative to put things together. Those are the kinds of things that if you struggle with, you might want to do this with other people that could help with those things. So I'd say a small group would be good for this. But if you struggle with making the connections to the bigger picture or trying to pull things from the big picture, inductive reasoning, those sorts of things, this could be a struggle.
I think with this one, you need different ways of thinking because we definitely think in different ways. But it could be useful to have more input because we both have a very tunnel vision way of how we think, you know?
But different is good, and number of perspectives is also good for solving a game like this.
Because it was very challenging for me. Because I try to follow directions exactly, and if I don't have a jumping off point, which with these you really don't unless you immediately pull up the hint card, which he doesn't.
I try to give it its fair shot before we, flip over any of the hints,
But and it gives me nowhere to start with, so I'm just kind of stuck there asking questions like, well, what are you thinking?
Right.
Right.
When things did start coming together for us and we started filling out some of the answers to these different puzzles, did any of those feelings change for you, or?
I was actually very proud of myself when you got up to take a break for a second and I slid in, and maybe that's helpful, is that you're always right in front of it and I'm off to the side. But when I was able to sit in front of it, I was able to start connecting a couple of things, and I did actually get that right without finding all of the clues because it was a little obscure to me. But I did get parts of it right, and that made me feel really good. Because I was able to figure that out. So maybe that's something, is like actually being right in front of it and seeing it.
And I think that's probably why it says 1 to 4 players, just because you want enough table space for each player to have something to be looking at.
Like normally what we'll do is we'll divide the work. He'll do one thing over here and I'll do something over here, but sometimes I get stuck over here and it looks like he's just jamming out over here, and I'm like, well,
even if I'm making no progress, I'm still like move things around.
But to me, it looks like progress, So I'm over here like, I don't know what to do.
So I think overall, it's just as enjoyable experience as we had with Escape Mail. I do like that it's themed, and once again, you get the cousin JJ story going along. Which again, there's like video that you can watch as part of the QR code that introduces you into the story. So I think we're definitely looking forward to the next few episodes within this and seeing what kind of new puzzles are going to come out. So for us, I'd say if you like puzzles and mathing out, well, not necessarily math, but figuring out the connections of things and working together to solve an overarching type of set of puzzles, this is a really great one. Really well done, and all the components are high quality. I will say, the patch that they included in this.
Oh yeah, I love that.
I mean, it's a legit patch with clues in it and stuff. So it's something that you could, not only just use in the game, but it's a component that you can then, if you want to represent the Shackleton series on your bag, you can do that. It's a legit patch. So, I'm always very happy to say, these are a lot of fun.
And if you're like me, like I said, we have two different ways of thinking. He sees end product. I see step 1, step 2, step 3, and it has to be the next step after the first step is completed. So if you're like me and you don't see the end product first, grab a partner that does.
Yeah.
Because it helps.
Yeah. The more the merrier. And certainly if you get stuck, it's helpful to bounce ideas off people.
Definitely.
Just like real life, I guess. So.
Like, because there are times that I'm like, well, this is going to sound ridiculous, but how about... And sometimes that's what it is.
I think the collective brainstorming about how to use the clues and puzzles presented, helps, find a breakthrough.
Definitely.
Yeah. So we recommend it. It's really fun. I really enjoyed it. So definitely check out more from the Escape Mail crew and Shackleton series coming to you now. So thanks for watching. I've been Jared.
I'm Holly.
Bye-bye.